Back, it's time now for our book review. From Women Who Broke Convention in the Maverick by Lauren Beukes to a book that's been dubbed the African version of Game of Thrones. We look into Black Leopard, Red Wolf by Marlon James. Andrea van Wyk joins us in studio now to talk about these intriguing titles. Andrea, good morning.
Good morning, Tony.
You see how I'm so cheerful this morning? It's amazing, isn't it? You're like, how does he do it?
Yes, exactly.
Andrea, the Maverick by Lauren Beukes.
So the subtitle for this book is Extraordinary Women from South Africa's Past. And it's really a fascinating book about women who bucked the trend. And they're not necessarily always women who we can admire. So, for example, one of the women in here is Daisy de Melker, who was one of South Africa's first women killers. She killed two of her husbands and tried to kill her son. She was convicted. This is fascinating. One of the women inside here is also Mantu Shabalala Msimang, because she refused to listen to anybody who spoke against her. But then we've got women, for example, like Ruth First, women like Helen Joseph and Lillian Ngoyi. They talk about the friendship between, for example, Helen Joseph and Lillian Ngoyi. You know, this friendship that developed where you would have thought, no, this couldn't happen during the time that it did. But they were besties, basically. One of the other women in here is the artist Irma Stern, who also painted and did whatever she wanted. Even though people didn't want to accept her paintings, she decided, I'm doing this anyway. One of the fascinating women in here is a woman called Sarah Rahl, who during the Anglo-Boer War decided, hell no, I'm not sitting at home, I'm going to fight. And she took a gun and went to see her brothers at the front, and she was caught a couple of times, but she was so angry and so full of spirit that they put her in a cage on her own to keep her from fighting.
That's fantastic. So that's the Maverick by Lauren Beukes. It's also been nominated for the Sunday Times 2006 Alan Payton Award. Let's go to Black Leopard, Red Wolf now by Marlon James. This is a fantastical movie here. It's a first in a trilogy from him, right? Dark Star trilogy, myth, fantasy, and history all come together. Tell us about it.
So this one's really fascinating. It's about a black leopard who can shapeshift into a human, and a person, a red wolf, who can smell really well and can track people that way. His nickname is Tracker. What's very interesting about this Booker-winning author is that he explores African mythology in here, and including, he's a Jamaican author, but we've got some South African mythology in here. So we've got a Sangoma in there. We, for example, have the Impundulu, who's one of the villains in here. The Impundulu, of course, being the lightning bird, something that we've got, I think, in Zulu culture. So it's absolutely fascinating. He blends mythology with fantasy, so really a stunning book. He writes really beautifully, so it's absolutely engrossing. You can't put it down, even though it's quite thick.
You know what? I'm glad, because I get tired of us writing about the village all the time. Things fall apart type. Things fall apart so many times. I love it when we come up with just, you know, crazy stories, just imaginative stuff, you know, from African authors. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, he's not an African author, he's Jamaican, but what he does
set in
is...
Africa.
Yes, absolutely, this is set in Africa. So we don't know exactly where in Africa. He doesn't say, but it's really, really fascinating to... And I mean, it's always quite nice to have something South African in there. Yes, absolutely.
All right. The Freedom Artist by Ben Okri. Talk to us about that one.
So in this book is set in a dystopian future where, for example, books are forbidden. So it kind of reminds one a little bit of Ray Bradbury's classic Fahrenheit 451. Everywhere you go, there's an underground group who writes on the walls who is the prisoner, and this underground group is being hunted by a group of people called the Hierarchy. Now, in this world, people are quite blind to what is happening. They think that everything's fine, they don't mind that things are happening, bad things are happening, that they're being restricted. One of the things that Ben Okri writes is the prison was the world and the world was the prison. People don't understand, and this really is applicable to today's society. We don't always see what's happening. Small things happen. It begins in increments. You know, our freedoms are being restricted. They happen in small increments, so we almost can't tell that they're happening until all of a sudden we're in this dystopian future that is being described in here, where, you know, we realize all our freedoms have been taken away. I mean, you just look at, you know, some of the governments currently in the world where freedoms are being taken away.
There's a camera on every single street in London.
Absolutely.
It's downtown Joburg, the cameras on every single street. We need them, but this kind of talks to that, doesn't it? Slowly but surely, you're being monitored in every single step you take.
Absolutely. So, for example, people who are disturbed by what they see cry out in their sleep, and all of a sudden this hierarchy wants to monitor people's sleep. It's absolutely bizarre, but slowly the protagonist in the story starts to realize what is happening. He joins the underground and starts to see that the world has become this prison that people are just not aware of.
Fantastic stuff. All right, of the three there, what's your best read?
Oh, wow, this is really difficult. That's horrible. But you know what? I'm going to go with Maverick. Because it's just such a fascinating story. You know, I mean, you've got people like Dolly Ratebe in there, who was the first black movie actress on the continent, for example. Things that I just did not know, people that I did not know. Fantastic stuff.
All right, Andrea, thank you so much for The Maverick by Lauren Beukes, Black Leopard, Red Wolf by Marlon James, and also The Freedom Artist by Ben Okwi. That's our book review for this morning. Andrea van Wyk, fantastic stuff. Thank you.